Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of UFO Encounters and Cryptid Phenomenon. Welcome, Denise. Hello, everybody. Golly, y'all were right over there. Hey, Roger.
Excuse me.
Get it out. You need the Heimlich. Hey, Gene. How are you doing there, Gene? You okay, Russ?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Hey, Rita. Every time I see Rita, think about Rita, the Meter Maid by the Beatles. Lovely Rita Maid. What would I be without her? But yeah, lovely Rita. I love that song. So hopefully Russ is okay. I'll give the Heimlich a couple of times. So yeah. So what's been going on? I've been busy with holy water today in bottles. So yeah. So you remember that song, right, Rita? Every time I see you when you join, that's the first thing that pops in my mind is the Beatles, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Hello there, Roger. So yeah, I used to sing that all the time when I was a kid. But yeah, so how you doing, Russ?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Problems with toothache. I've had until I get it out in a week and a half's time. I'll just be like this, up and down all the time.
See, now where I come from, we get you a bottle of Jim Beam and a pair of pliers, and that's all we do where we come from.
Really?
Yes.
We do that if you've got toothache or not.
So. So did you ever look up piggy in a blanket on the internet and a wiener?
Yeah.
See, England, I told you.
A pig in blanket in England is a sausage wrapped in bacon.
Yeah, not in America. Not in a good U.S. of A. So yeah. I know, Eric. I had to ask him. Remember, he was like taken back. So I see all these pictures of these aliens across the internet now. Now you know how they got these pictures of the dogs, and I don't have I do have one. Hold up. And they got a knife, and they go to cut it, and it's a cake.
It's a cake. Yeah, I've seen it.
And I had the piece earlier on. Cut the alien.
And I had the piece earlier on with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and nice. now the alien's a cake. So it's like, And remember that dog sees that one where when the dog gets cut and another dog goes. But yeah.
Have you seen the other one from Alien?
Oh yeah, where she's like, but yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of memes going around, but it's like, is it pollution, white noise? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, because now, what I was just thinking of Lala when I was because I got your package ready to go out. I was messing with a bunch of holy water. I got to go to the church tomorrow with those super soakers. So hello, Lala. Welcome to the show. I don't realize the church realize how much holy water I'm going to get. But anyways, but yeah, I forgot what I was thinking now because I saw Lala, and thank you. But
about sending the package out.
Yeah, I got her package ready to send out. It's going out in the morning. But I really forgot. I saw Lala. My mind went, P'too! But anyways. But hey, Gene, you got to help me remember, Gene, what I was getting ready to say. But it's just weird because, what are they trying to, like, hello? And, they're talking about the election, and they're, NASA's on TV. Aliens are here. People don't panic. They're not a harm to civilizations. Or don't worry. And everybody's just like humming and dinging, and life's going on. And I'm like, is anybody paying attention to what they're saying on TV? And everybody's just going on like nothing's going. Like it's like whatever it is. You are magical. So yeah.
The problem is
I don't know what the problem is. Now we
they're
got
not
the
actually
moon.
using the words, are they? They're not actually using the words that aliens are actually here.
Hey, Samantha, welcome to the show. Yes, yes.
What?
NASA says the aliens are here. They are here. I've actually watched that on the national news. I'm like, did anybody else catch that?
I haven't seen that. I mean, I've been watching all week, and I can't honestly say. I hear them say they say that there's they know that there is something here, but they don't know what it is. You see, the problem is what they do is that they'll say one thing 1 minute and then they'll retract that statement. So you're always ready if they do say something for them to retract the statement again. So people get so bored that people are not really bothered what NASA say, because personally, I know they're here.
Well, I know we all know they're here.
I've videoed them.
That's what I'm saying. And some Rita, you're right, lovely Rita. Rita Main, what are you doing beside me? But what I'm saying is, you're right. It's going in one ear, out the other, and I totally agree. Samantha, they're using terms like biological entities. Yes, I did catch that. Right. So it's just like we're just numb to it. That nobody cares.
Yeah. Nobody cares, because I think if you have a look,
hey Lorna,
when I started out back in
Robert
in the mid 90s, right? Yeah,
right.
Coming out and talking about this, you know, sort of like it were a little bit, you know, like you're a nutter. And there was only a certain amount of people, apparently, on one of the big, they had a big census about UFOs, and it says that something like almost 60% of people believed in UFOs and aliens, where today I think it's something crazy like 90% of people not only believe in UFOs but believe in aliens now. So when I were out talking and saying I'd been abducted and I'd seen these things, you know, sort of like you were laughed at. You know what I mean? Sort of like one as easy as it is now for people to come on and talk about it, you know, sort of like, and go into a group where there's like-minded people. It were like, you know, the internet was fairly new, so you didn't have, as you know, sort of like the technology wasn't there. Now, you know, you're collectively talking to people that believe and you know, are together. So now it's like the majority of people believe. And if you ask yourself why, this is a big question. Why do so many people believe in aliens? Well, if all these when they've done you know, looking into, you know, the subject of aliens and UFOs, these sensors and what have you, what they're coming back with is there's quite a number of people not only saying that they've seen UFOs, witnessed UFOs, witnessed the occupants, but also been abducted. So you've got all these people that have actually come forward, you know, and said that they've witnessed aliens. So, and it's an astronomical amount of people around the world. So obviously the numbers are going to go up of people that are claiming to have seen aliens and been abducted. So obviously the numbers of people are going to go up to say that, you know, they believe. Because if you've seen something and you've been abducted, you know, it's happened to you. So, I mean, no wonder the numbers have gone up to something like 90% of the population, you know, sort of like when they've done all these reports, you know, and questionnaires, and to get these numbers now of 90%, I mean, it's astounding. So that can only mean one thing. That can only mean that abductions and sightings are on the rise.
That, and so does the Hollywood movies. You know, I think people are believing what they're watching on TV and believing more in what they're seeing in movies. But one thing that I am kind of concerned about are the reptilians, the Dracos, and how they walk amongst us, and they use their vibrations to camouflage themselves. That was very interesting to learn about them.
Yeah. I mean, I've come across, I mean, we've battled with Dracos or dragon men, you know, and the lizards, you know, reptiles, call them what you will. There's quite a lot different types. And, you know, it's something to be really concerned about. I mean, some people look at this subject and they see it not as UFOs, aliens, but sort of like fallen angels and demons, you know,
Right.
which I couldn't actually say that I disagree with anybody, you know, because just because that they've come from different planets don't mean to say they're not demonic. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, because anybody taking anybody, taking a human or anybody else against the will, you know, that is demonic. And to use them, you know, in some of the experiments, you know, and to do some of the things what they've done in like theaters, you know, operating rooms and what have you. You know, sort of like it just, it makes me feel sick, because, you know, what the heck are they up to? You know, I mean, I can tell you now, you know, from my point of view, as an abductee and super soldier being taken by these things, you know, that there's a war going on. And the thing is, the government don't want anybody to know, not only the American government, the British government, all governments of Europe.
Yeah, well, let's start calling them G-Man. Let's start calling them G-Man so we don't get censored.
Yeah. You know, sort of like, you know, call them what you will. The thing is that they are doing these things and taking people. And the problem is, like we've said, how many times have we said this before, Grizzly, that, you know, we're having accounts of more and more people that have been taken, that have gone missing. And there's more and more people every year.
So it was 1955 when Eisenhower allegedly met with the aliens in the in the Air Force Base, Edmonds, in the emergency Denison. Yeah. So, you know, and the treaty was allegedly signed for, you know, humans, for technology and some other stuff. Because I mean, if you look between the 50s and today with the technology gap, you know, it's huge. So, and the alleged granddaughter came forward and said that happened. Some other people said that it happened and whatnot. You know, can we all 110% say yes, it did? I mean, there's a lot of things that point to it. I'm not going to say it didn't. So, but it makes you wonder, because, you know, I remember when a computer would take up a whole building of a government floor, right?
Yeah.
And a calculator was a whole room of a building, a handheld calculator, right, to do simple math. So I don't know. I mean,
well, if you remember, something happened in 70s, and what they actually put it down to was technology that had come from Roswell. And we got, remember Velcro?
right.
Well, we got Velcro came out, didn't it? You know, like easy way fastening. And they reckon that came from the suits, what the aliens were wearing. Right? Then they came out and said that they'd been using night vision. And apparently that came from the aliens because they used night vision. Right? So that were just a couple of little sort of like things that, you know, big in technology wise in some ways, you know, because it went into manufacturing in clothing industry and footwear, you know, fastenings, and then military using night vision and, you know, sort of like still using it today.
Well,
You
I
know.
mean, you look at the technology gap during World War II with Hitler, right? Explain some of the stuff that he come up with, the rockets, the jet plane, and some of the technology that he had access to. You know, I don't understand that. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, he had scientists and so forth, but some of the stuff that he had access to landed up to that said that it came from aliens and alien technology that he was helped. So is that true or is that not true?
Yeah. Well, there's a statement from von Braun, and he says that he had help from extra. He more or less said extra. I forgot the wording, but it was from other worlds. I think he put entities from other worlds. So, you know, I mean, that's just unbelievable. But I mean, obviously, you know, there was something, you know, strange going on with the technology. But I mean, you could tell by the aircraft that they were moving forward, how sleek some of the aircraft were, you know, compared to the Allies and ours.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely. I mean, even the stuff that looks like UFOs that he was developing, right? The Bell,
oh, the Glock,
the the Glock, even the stealth B-52 bomber that we have.
yeah,
They, you know, he already had the design and so forth. I mean, we can go on and on and on with some of the designs that he had, even though he had props on it, right? I mean, we still use some of the designs today, but we use different material, right? Because it's stealth. So
that's right, yeah. Which is, it comes back to the question again of why are people wanting to go to the moon? And is it because of what is it now? There's an element, and what they're saying is that if that element is found on the moon, then you've got your super metal, your technology for this super metal, you know, sort of that can basically, it's like live metal, you know, sort of like it can grow, it can form and what have you into different shapes. So is this why that they're going to the moon? You know, because they're looking for this special material. But the thing is, and this is a worrying fact, if China have been on the moon, you know, how comes they're not being monitored?
well, China has been on the moon. I've actually seen
Yeah, no.
studies where they have actually been on the moon and doing research. Hey, Brian, welcome to the show. On the moon, and it's like Science Bob said that there's a mineral. I like to know what that mineral is that they're trying to mine. And other people were talking about H3, right?
The Boblizar H3, is it?
Right. Yeah. So, an H3 is something that's an abundant, that's on the moon as well, that people can grab. So, is that something that we can just use like a vacuum cleaner and suck it up and bring it back to Earth? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a scientist or rocket engineer or anything like that. So, that's where I rely on everybody else to tell us, because there's something going on that we're not. Element 115. That's what somebody said on the last show. What is element 115? Is that what it is? H3? Is that the
Boblizar? Is that what Boblizar said? That there was an element 115 was the element, and nobody could believe it. And then they found there is an element 115, but if it's an abundance on the moon, sort of like, who knows? Sort of like, does that mean we're getting super technology then? We're going on from just normal
element,
sort of like metals to super technology where these things can change shape and size. Because some of these crafts seem to be able to just, I know I've witnessed it myself. The craft can elongate itself.
It's a synthetic element with the symbol MC and atomic number 115. Was first synthesized in 2003 by a joint team of Russian American scientists by Joint Institute by nuclear researchers. And it doesn't say too much more. And let me copy and paste this. So, well, it's not. Why does it not let me cheat? So, yeah, Samantha said that's what I was getting ready to ask. Did Bob Lazar said did the UFOs make it? India is up there. Samantha says Bob Lazar said UFOs are made of it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So
is this the big question? The big question is: it because there's an abundance of this element on the moon that everybody's scrambling to get there to bring it back? And if they are, that means that people have got in mind the same as anybody else with a little bit of logic, and that is, we bring that back here, we can make these super saucers, these super flying saucers that can change shape and you know what I mean, and do all sorts. But what for?
Yeah, and Gene brings up a good question. Did you hear about that fighter plane that we got missing?
No.
Yeah, so evidently something happened, and the fighter pilot had to eject out of the plane in America, and the plane is gone. And they're asking for civilians in America, if you see debris, to call it in.
I'll tell you what, I have heard that over here, a rogue Russian pilot had taken shots at our aircraft.
Really?
Yeah, it was on the news last week. I mean, sort of like, we only found out about it this week. It said that last week that this rogue Russian pilot, sort of like basically opened up on the RAF.
Where is he just trying to like instigate war or something?
Well, no, we've instigated war by going to a country that isn't ours and threatening it. You know what I mean? That's, sort of like England's instigated war. by going to somebody's country and by bringing troops there right next door and saying, we're backing, sort of like your enemies. That's instigating war. You know what I mean? But, sort of like my philosophy is got nothing to do with Ukraine or Russia, right? Yeah. Keep out of it. Keep out of it. Every time there's been a world war, it's always started in the what do you call it, Eastern Europe, every time. So like, it's not a good thing to go into. Let's keep out of it. That's my philosophy.
Standing stones. I think the Nazis were working with Mercury spinning on the edges of their UFO spacecraft. Spun like centrifugal force caused lift in conjunction with magnetic. There was a guy, I can't remember his name, that used frequencies that could melt objects, break objects, levitate objects, and also use the frequencies to light 75-watt light bulbs and not explode them. And he used regular military equipment that was junk. And the military don't know how he did it with their own equipment. So, but yes. Yeah, it's super cool liquid mercury. So it's very interesting. I don't know what to think of everything. So it's very crazy. So
it'd be nice to see somebody, if they say this technology is so
hey, John,
readily available and so easy to use, how comes that nobody's showing it to the everyday people so that they can put something together and make maybe something to what do you call it, sustainable energy for us, for each and everybody's home, so we don't need to sort of like run off of gas or electricity. It's something I think it'd be lovely for somebody to get together in America and England and have group meetings and show people if this technology is real, sort of like, how can we use it?
They do. They do. And two things end up happening. Either they take them out, they whack them, and they steal their schematics and their property that they make. We had a vehicle that ran on water. We had vehicles and machinery that ran on electricity that ran on water as well with electricity. That didn't need oil or gasoline. So alchemy study, yes, that's right. Fifth Light Bandit. So we actually had that technology, and there are powers to be that doesn't want the public to have it because that's going to cost trillions and trillions of dollars out of people's pockets, right? So I mean, Roger says like they did with Tesla, $15,000 to have a charging port at the home, and then their car catches on fire when you first got it. So, I mean, look at the push for nuclear reactors back in the 80s and 90s for everybody to get the nuclear reactors. That's the new way, to get your power, so clean. And look at the destruction of that, right? So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is it. I mean, it's like there's a big thing about all this about power. And the thing is, people need power. People need energy. People need to keep warm. People need to, when they're going to, when they're going out to travel, it's like everybody needs energy, no matter what anybody says. And the ones that are bandying around about people and what have you, and it's all wrong to use energy, the children that have been brainwashed, that only ever stay in and look at a mobile phone and don't go out, or get a bus or get the parents to take them to school and back every day and what have you. You know what I mean? Sort of like the worst people of all for shouting and bawling and crying, and sort of like they're using more power than anybody. It's sort of like ludicrous.
Oh, I tell you what's ludicrous is I'm seeing over here on the news is that people with these electric cars in AAA over here, AAA is roadside assistance, if you don't know, are pulling diesel generators to charge electric cars on the side of the road. Yeah. Diesel generators, ladies and gentlemen, to charge your car. Now, what is wrong with this picture? So, and now you're able to buy these generators for your electric cars that run on gas and backup batteries to charge your car because you can't find don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
Oh, this is it. I mean, the problem is
we can take a UFO and reverse engineer it, right? Yeah. And levitate it and do Mach 15 or whatever it does and whatever it's possible to do. Hello, Kelly. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you, Kelly. Hopefully everything's going well. But we can do all this, but we can let the world go to crap.
Oh, yeah. And it is, you know, sort of like every week you just look and you just think to yourself, you know, like things are getting worse, you know?
So we got the cure for cancer. We got the cure for the common cold. We got the cure to run vehicles without fossil fuel, if that's what you want to call it. That's baloney. Yeah. It's not fossil fuel, ladies and gentlemen. Petroleum or oil, whatever fuel you want to label as. We have that technology. But with the power to people in power that's making these billions of dollars in their pockets in the royalties, they're not going to let that technology out for the common people like you and me to benefit for it or worry about the planet and the pollution. That's right, Standing Stones. Everything could run off magnetic energy. Tesla proved it. They got trains in Japan that runs off magnets. I think there's trains up in I think parts of America that runs on magnets that levitate. Am I not right?
Yeah. I know that it's supposed to be in Canada.
Yes, I think so.
I think in Canada, because they did an agreement with Japan, the Canadians. Something you just said there, Grizzly, which is odd. And you said about fossil fuel, and you sort of like laughed when you said fossil fuel.
Yeah, it's not fossil fuel. You know, people think it's dinosaurs.
I just watched the program, and it's scientists telling you that, you know, in America they used to have these big dinosaurs and called fossil fuel and what have you. You know, and these scientists have showed you where petroleum and oil comes from Mother Earth, and how it reproduces this oil from naturally from vegetation growing and dying. And
that is what it's from, not from dinosaurs. Thank you.
I'm looking, I'm thinking to myself, no way. And I'm not joking. 2 hours I was sat glued to that box about a week ago. I could not believe my eyes and ears. And it says that they want people to think it's fossil fuel and dinosaurs.
That is correct. That is correct. Because they want us to think we're going to run out.
Yeah, and it'll never happen. You'll never run out because of the soil, because of how the earth spins, and because of the vegetation. And there's always layers upon layers and upon layers, and it'll never go. There'll always be enough.
Hey, E-Rev, welcome to the show. Nice to have you.
So yeah, I totally agree with you.
That's why I laugh, because man, G-Man, right, has put that fear into people and thinking that every time we go to the pump, we're pumping Triceratops Rex or Triceratops or Velociraptor and all this other BS. No, we're not, ladies and gentlemen. What the hell are you thinking?
No, that is unbelievable.
Because and Kelly, you're right, there is. And I'm surprised it's not Pope. Kelly, there is a country, and Robert, E-Rev, Standing Stones, Denise, Jean, somebody fact check me. There is a country right now that's curing cancer by vibrations. Yes, I said it. They are using vibrations. And that's how they're doing it. So, yes.
Yeah, well, what do you call it? Joe Swanson were talking about that because you can buy now headphones that goes into your computer, right? Yeah. And with frequencies. And you can listen to the frequencies and it'll destroy any cells in your body.
Yes.
But there is actually, that is one way of doing it, but there is a machine. There's also a machine that we're talking about. It's about $300, and you plug it in, you put headphones on, these goggles, and what it does is it vibrates at a frequency, and you put what's wrong with you. You put in what's wrong with you, and the diagnosis will come up, and it'll tell you what frequency to set that dial at to destroy whatever cells they are that are attacking your body.
Yeah, I believe that. I really do. Frequencies, everything has a frequency, everything has a vibration. Right. Every planet, every star, every energy, every living and non-living animal, plant, rock, whatever structure has a frequency and a vibration to it. It's been proven scientifically. And this is where I wish Science Bob was in here, where he can be like, you know, because this is where I can have the scientific part of it, where somebody can speak to it. And Eric, don't forget, Eric Thompson, we got a show Thursday, so you better get your stuff in line. But yeah, but you know, it is. And people don't believe that. And that's why every planet has its own frequency and vibration. They have special, I don't know what it's called. I'm not a scientist, but they have, they monitor, you know, space for ET phoning home or ET phoning Earth. That frequency they're hearing, that's Jupiter. They know what frequency or hertz it's putting out. They know each planet. So, yeah, because all of it's moving. That is correct, Evie. So it is.
Grizzly, that from what I know, we've been abductors. What the aliens had told me was that all the planets had life on, even though some of the life forms were obscure and looked totally different to the human body. Like some are like just power, you know, looking like somebody on fire, you know, sort of like, and one a bit like looking like something made out of ice, which goes back to the Old Norse gods of the ice giants. You know what I mean? It reminded me, and about all these different realms. Well, the different realms are different planets. You know what I mean? With different species on each planet, you know. So it's like I can understand now where some of these mythologies, you know, like have come from. You know, because somebody must have known on this planet thousands of years ago because something must have been happening here. Let's say, for instance, a war, a war in the universe by the looks of things. And it just looks like it's carrying on, unfortunately.
So we use vibrations for a lot of things. We tune pianos, we tune musical instruments. We actually, in law enforcement, we had tuning forks to tune our radars, to calibrate, to make sure. And when I say calibrate, ladies and gentlemen, they're the radar units in our vehicles to track your speed. The heads, right, to track your vehicles. How those actually work is like a sonar, right? It would put out you got X band, K band, Ka band, super wide laser, and whatnot. It would shoot out a signal, and it would hit a metal object, and it would bounce off, and it would get the measurements between in the distance, and it would tell you the speed of that object. Now, with that being said, right, the tuning forks, you would hit it, and hello, Cliff, welcome to the show, Cliff Jones, and you would put that tuning fork in front of that radar unit head, and that frequency, it would be 45 miles an hour. Boo! And then my radar unit would register 45 miles an hour. That would tell me that head is calibrated. It would register. So when I would use that on my shift, and I would clock you, and I would say you were doing 80, right? I know you were doing 80 miles an hour. Plus, the radar unit would shoot a beam out and hit the pavement as I was driving, and it would pace my vehicle as I was moving. So it would also show how fast I was going and traveling at the same time I was shooting other vehicles, either coming at me or going away from me. So in that way, I can look down at my certified speedometer, and I can be doing 55. And so my radar unit would show my patrol vehicle be doing 55 miles an hour too. Then you take the other tuning fork and bang them and hit them, and it would subtract those two and give you another speed. And that way you know that your unit is calibrated. And a lot of people don't know about that. So I don't know why I'm telling you about that. But once again, vibrations and frequencies, right?
That's right.
So, yes. So a lot of people use that. And there's a lot of things that we use that for. Music, temper and metals and so forth. Flipping hardness. And I mean, hello, D, welcome to the show. Nice to have you. So, I mean, it's all about, and I think we just start really learning, I say probably the past 100 years about frequencies and vibrations. What's your take on it?
Yeah, exactly the same. And I mean, if you have a look, you can change the frequencies, and it's like, you can actually shatter a glass by changing the frequency. Have you ever seen that done, where there's a frequency and a glass, and they get that frequency and to the same as the glass, and basically it shatters it.
Same thing with an opera singer. Remember back in the 70s and 80s how popular that was? When somebody would hit a certain frequency, they would shatter that wine glass.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. But somebody asked me, I was taken in a spaceship, but basically lived on their planet for quite a number of years. Somebody were asking. I forgot who were asking.
Eric says he's done that. Eric, I can look in the mirror and it shatters. So, but it's just, I think a lot of people don't realize how important vibrations and frequencies are in the world, right? I really don't. So,
No,
Roger,
this
I
is
heard
it.
some of the artists use auto tune to make their own voices sound better. Yeah, that in my board, in my board in the studio, I can actually change my voice to different tones
Yeah.
in different C. If you listen, I'm changing octaves, and I'm at B major now. And if you can hear it, see, you hear the vibration. Do you hear it changing? So I can actually change. I'm at C major right now, so I'm actually changing my voice. So when I go to sing a song, see how it's changing. So yeah, so I can make somebody that doesn't sound good at all sound very beautiful. Now, if I had a board like in a studio, like a regular studio, I can take somebody that sounds like doo-doo and make him sound like Whitney Houston up on the stage. And that's how people do that. So yeah. So I've seen people before be like, this poor girl can't sing at karaoke. Let's help her out. Or I've seen people at bars be like, watch this. This girl thinks she's hot stuff and make her sound just horrible. And I'm like, that
cruel.
is so wrong. I can't
That is
believe.
cruel.
In there, and she acts like she is like the bomb, and she sounds like ow, ow, and everybody's in the bar is like dying laughing, and and she has no idea what she sounds like. Yeah, because they're changing her octave through the system because of the boards they have. It is funny after once you realize what they're doing, though. But anyways. Yes, they do that. So you got to be nice and tip to the DJ people if you ever go out and sing karaoke, because they will mess with you. So a lot of singers today can't sing. They can't. They change their voice so they sound good. That is correct. And that's why a lot of people, and no disrespect, because I'm heavy set. Okay, that's why you don't see a lot of heavy set singers in the artist industry, in the music industry, because they don't have the body or the looks, even though they got the voice. They just don't have the looks. Now, it is becoming more acceptable now than it was years ago. But that's why you see people that are like, ooh, models, and they can't sing worth a hell, and they're lip singing, right? And their mics that they have on their heads not even working because it's pre-recorded in the studio, and they're just lip singing up on stage. And that got busted years ago. So yeah, I mean, how can you dance around this? How can you dance around the stage, for a half hour and not be out of breath and still hitting your A octave and B octave notes, right? So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, Roger, this lip sing when they're live, right? But and it's sad. So. But times have changed. So. Eric says that's why I love Laid Back. So, but I mean, it is, but when it comes to Bob Lazar, I know that name got brought up earlier. People thought he was nuts, and people try to debunk him years ago, and it was sad. And everything that he said when he first came out in public became reality, and it actually came to pass. And I'm glad Jack Black, yes. And I'm glad that the people that actually stood up for him and defended him back then are his true friends today, because a lot of people segregated themselves from him and his life and did not. I don't know Bob Lazar. You did. You used to hang out with him. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. You used to go to barbecues. I don't know who you're talking about. He's crazy. So, and got ridiculed with them. And now he's sitting back. He was like, I told you so. I mean, look at it. I mean, he's the real deal. I mean, they try to shut him up. And he did. He disappeared for many years, ladies and gentlemen, off the face of the earth. I mean, he went into hiding. So, yeah, Manila Villa. Mellavilla. I can't even say it. But I got you, Jim's camera down. You're right. So, speaking of
Milli
Jim's
Vanilli.
camera, speaking of Jim's camera, I never forget when that I got my new master lock trail camera lock for my trail camera to lock it on the trees. So I'll be putting up a new trail camera.
Why have you had some problems with it? Have you had problems?
Well, I don't know how many's missing. So this one is a little high dollar one then compared to some of the other ones I put out. And
you said, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that one from the company?
So this one you're not supposed to be able to cut it. It's supposed to be cut proof, the cable. I'm like, how can it be cut proof? I'm like, man, you give me one of those little portable saws, like, a little Dremel or something. But anyways,
cable's the same as that.
So
I've got the motorbike, and you can't cut through them. It's got to be a diamond. What do you call it? A head.
Is that what it's got to be?
It has to be, yeah.
Yeah, Standing Stones. You're right. Yeah, Vanilla Ice, baby. Yeah, I used to have the eyebrow like that when I was a kid growing up. It was notched. Yeah, man, I was the stuff. So
is that when you fell over and you cut and it went right across your eyebrow, and you had a scar there?
My dad was like, what in the world? Wow, son, what is that? And I was like, Dad, it's hip, it's style. The eyebrow thing. We had it notched like Vanilla Ice. But yeah. Oh, come on. You didn't do any crazy stuff when you were younger.
No.
So, but yeah, and it's interesting to hear Bob Lazar speak now. Because Bob, everybody's like running to Bob Lazar now. Bob's like, nah, I don't have time for you. And do you blame him? No, I don't.
And the funny thing is, it's like there's certain people on TV, and like they're talking about him and saying, oh, I wasn't taking him serious and what have you. And I'm looking at this little person with a big gob, and I'm thinking, who's bothered what you say? You know what I mean? Sort of like the guy were amazing. You sat and you listened to him talking about what he did, and it showed you, sort of like where he'd worked and everything and what he'd worked on. And then you have somebody coming on saying, oh, I didn't believe him from word go. And you're thinking, who's bothered about these people? There's too many of these people that sort of like seem to, want to cause problems for people and what have you.
The G-Man tried to wipe him completely off the face of the world. When they try to erase him from day one when he stepped out of the shadows.
Yeah.
And called him crazy and like, we don't know who this guy is. And they did everything. And I think he had a paycheck stub that he hid or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he made that up. He fabricated that. That's not real.
He had one or two things up his sleeve that proved where he was and who he was.
Yeah.
And they couldn't take it from him. I think he had a thing, like from, like when he were working there, for like something like best workman of the year. And, like from you get them in your schools, a report, and he had, and he were on it. So, like how comes he had that from, the actual facility where he worked if he didn't work there? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and Samantha says a photo of him from college because they tried to erase him from college too, and they said they didn't go to college, and that's right, yeah. So,
but, the thing is, I've had it done. Obviously not. as big as a guy, but I've had it done to me with people in this subject who I thought was for this subject of UFOs and aliens, and sort of like all the time, you know, sort of like I found out that they were stabbing me in the back and telling people not to use my video footage, don't use it, or no, it's not real, it's not good, it can be, to us it looks like what do you call it, an hang glider. And I only found out years later about all this and being asked to go on a TV program, and then them going to the producer and saying, "No, no, don't use him. We've got somebody who's educated. Use him." You know. And
Yeah, I seen something like that too, Gene. I'm listening to you, Russ. But
you know,
yeah, it's just when you start talking and getting too close. For example, and I'm not going to say his name. One of my co-hosts made an announcement recently. Hey, Tammy, welcome to the show. Sorry you're late, hon. Glad you're here. That he's thinking about getting out of the game. And I was like, do what? And it kind of caught me off guard is because of the threats he's getting because of what he's doing and what he's been posting. And it's just like you, right? Because of your experiences and your footage and what you recorded, they don't want the truth out. G-Man, people in high places and whatnot. I mean, you got very good footage. I mean, you've been on all the broadcast and news stations in the UK. You've been in all the papers. You've been in all the social media, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't want you to speak. They don't want your footage. So they are going to discredit you. We see that a lot. And Gene hit the nail on the head about that person a minute ago. Hello, Annette. Welcome. Welcome to the show. So, and yeah, education is not a program to follow a narrative. Yeah, you're right. And that is absolutely true. And it's sad. Yeah, I'm talking about last night, Eric, that kind of caught me off guard. So, and I don't know if anybody else picked that up either. So I left it alone. I didn't want to ask or say anything because there's a right and a wrong place to ask questions. But you know, in this phenomenon, whether it's UFOs or cryptids or whatever field you're in, when you get close to a particular subject, you know, and when it comes to encounters or evidence and so forth, you do get monitored. There has been shows, mine have been removed.
Yeah.
I have been flagged. So that's why we have to be very careful on certain keywords that we can and cannot say on one platform, unfortunately. But you know, it's you know, we're supposed to be where we have free speech, right? And we're not supposed to be censored. Facebook, you might as well give that up, right? You know, they got their own fact checkers where they can KMA, you know, far as I'm concerned. So because they don't fact check anything. You know, to me, it's the Gestapo. It's whatever they say goes, and they check what they want to check, and if they don't agree with you, then they do what they want to do. I fought with them for years, and I don't even do anything with them anymore when it comes to posting certain stuff. No. But I notice, like you said too, about posting stuff in groups, how I think there are certain people that are in there to attack people and discredit them intentionally. Yeah. I do think that happens. What's your take?
Yeah, well, I've seen it, and the thing is, it's almost like, you know, you make friends with somebody, and I always say, "Hi, nice to meet you," you know, like and what have you, and sometimes if you've got, say, like if you've got 4,000, 5,000 people, it's hard sometimes to remember who everybody is. But when you're in the same subject as them, and then you get asked to go on a platform onto a group, and you go on the group, and this is what happens. So you're on the group and you're talking, and you'll tell them about something that's happened to you. And not only can you tell them about what's happened to you, you can prove it because you got the video footage. You've got the letters when you've wrote off to the MOD, to sort of like different airports, etc., and reported things to police, etc. So you've got all the information, and you're telling somebody, and then all of a sudden somebody comes along, and then there's a comment or one of these silly faces, like a pull a face and what have you. And
yeah, the trolls.
And so you say, yeah, what was the face about? Was there something funny I said? Oh, yeah, what you said is rubbish. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Why were it rubbish? And sort of like, and what it is it's almost as if these people have been laying in wait for you to come on and say something and attack. And it's not only one, it's maybe you might get one or two people, and somebody else will say, oh yeah, he's right, you're right, is a whatever. And so at first I used to bite, and I used to swear, and I used to, and I just learned, instead what I just do is I just undo my comment, and I just come out with a group. Now the thing is, what I said to the person that runs the group, I think you should be keeping your eye on your group and what's going on, because don't ask me to sign this and say, yeah, I'll join the group, I abide by your rules, and regulations, when you're letting that happen. You know what I mean? Because you're the problem. It's like if you've got a group and you're allowing that, the first minute somebody says something, right? Yeah. And we can all have different opinions. That's part of it and what have you. But
Right.
when it's attacking somebody, when they put some and then all of a sudden there's like nastiness, and sort of like it's like personal, then that group should be taken down. The person who's running that group shouldn't be allowed to run a group, because what he's doing, he's actually allowing things to sort of like get heated. You know what I mean, in a way. So
Hey,
it's
Sandra.
like,
No, I mean, I understand where you come from, and that's why I went through. I told you how many groups
but it's
I'm
a
a
lot of
member
groups,
of.
so
But the thing though
Grizzly,
is
it's a lot
that,
of groups. It
but
happens in a lot of groups.
but there's nothing we can do how other people run their groups, and it's sad,
No.
and it really affects the community as a whole. And people, that jumps on the bandwagon, right? They see that, and the smart ones, they know, right? And what's sad is that the uneducated ones that don't know Russ or Grizzly or whatnot, and they see a post and somebody makes a smart comment or blase or whatnot, and they're like, oh, so that guy's a fake. And next thing you know, 25 people say, yeah, he just discount that guy. He's no good. And those 25 people believe that. And it's sad because they don't do their homework, and and they see that, and that group allows that, right? And those are the groups that I don't participate in, because those are the ones that are bullies, right? Mm-hmm. And this is where we and us and other people like us come up and have the safe places and environments for people to come for, like we talked about on the last show. And that's very important. So
I would agree with you. Totally agree with you. So now what I've been doing is like not joining groups. And I'm not joking. I have got 500 requests to join groups. You know what I mean? So I decided the other day, I thought I will join. And, you know, even if it's just to join, I'll try to support people in groups. You know, it's like
Right.
I'm not letting people bully me, and I've decided I will put things up. But the very moment there's any silly business, you know, sort of like I'll just put up, you know, you need if you're moderating this, you need to moderate it. If you're looking after this group, you need to look after this group, because you're sadly letting the group down. You know, the minute when you start letting people attack other people, you know, sort of like, even if it is with silly, you know, like faces, and, you know, like, it's like that's your first sort of like, in a way, that's the first strike in it, seeing if they can get to you by doing something like emoji or whatever you call it, and trying to annoy you. And then it'll be, from that, it goes on to then something like verbal. You know, they'll type a message, and, you know, and then it's going against what you're saying, which, I mean, sort of like, we can all, believe me, I can be as nasty as the next person. You know what I mean? But what's the point? That ain't what it's about. You know, you don't go onto a group platform to sort of like take the mickey out of somebody, or, you know, sort of like have a go at them, and sort of like trying to, you know what I mean? What is the point? I think some of these people
Keyboard
really
warriors,
need
what
to.
it is.
Say again, sorry.
Keyboard warriors. They're strong behind the computer screen where they can't see you.
Oh yeah, bullying. This is a problem. This is bullying at its worst.
See, look at Cliff Jones. I'm an admin of a historic group with 23,588 members. We see any bullies, remove them right away. So yeah, and I totally agree with you, Cliff Jones. And exactly how I do my groups and other people's groups, and I'm an admin or moderator of. I don't tolerate it. But it's sad that it does happen, right? But, you know, we want to have that safe atmosphere. We really do. But it's sad that it does happen, because it actually prevents other people from coming forward.
It does.
It really does.
There's no doubt about it. You know, I mean, if people believe me, they believe. If they don't, you know, big deal. You know what I mean? It's like, it's no big deal. The only time that it affects me is when I get death threats, and, you know, and you know what I mean? It's like, I've had that happen for quite a number of years now. I'm still here. You know what I mean? I've had people say, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that," when we see, well, try.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
agree
I mean?
with you, Samantha. I agree with you, Russ. Yeah.
But you just get on with it, you know, sort of like, because the thing is, they want people to shut up. They want people not to talk. You know, sort of like, they don't want you to communicate with other people.
Right.
You know? And, you know, sometimes people say, "Oh, well, I disagree with you," and sort of like, you know, well, yeah, we're all different. We've all had different things happen to us. You know, like, if we've been abducted, you know, we haven't all had the same type of abductions by the same type of aliens and all this lot. So they are going to be different people, you know. Then I have the people saying, "Oh, you think you know it all. You think you're better than us. You know," and sort of like, you get that type of thing. And sometimes, I must admit, I might come across like that, but it's because of maybe somebody said or done something which has really hacked me off. You know what I mean? And sort of like, so now I just don't bother. Now you know, sort of like, I'll put something up and leave it, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. You know, I very rarely comment on other people's. I might put I like something. Last time I liked an image, somebody turned around and said to me, "Oh, you know, sort of like that image is made up and what have you." And I said, "I didn't say it wasn't." I said, "Yeah, it's a good image. Yeah, it looks unusual." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like it's almost again like they're trying to say that, oh well, you know, don't you know a real UFO from a one that isn't a real one? Well,
Yeah.
you know, you tell me. You seem to know more than me. You know, which is sad, really. You know, but I'll tell you what I've noticed though, Grizzly, and you know, the truth of the matter is, we see a lot of groups out there, but we don't see enough evidence. We see a lot of that. We see a lot of yammer, people there mouthing it, and you know, sort of like they've all got, you know, sort of like they're all big hard men and what have you talking. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we're not getting enough video footage, we're not getting enough photographic evidence, and people coming on and showing it. And a lot of the time, the stuff that does come up, you know, it's old news. You know what I mean? It's like going back to some of the magazines that used to be out there some years ago. One magazine in particular, every other month, it used to be about Roswell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you can only. It's like, wow, that's like saying that there's nothing else happening on the planet apart from what's happened in Roswell. And then Rendlesham Forest, that would be the next thing, and what have you, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, hasn't anybody filmed anything? Hasn't anything else happened other than this?
Nobody's going to come forward with it because everybody gets crucified and made fun of. You know, I see it with Bigfoot. You know, why don't you share your pictures on it? Well, I'm not going to share what I've got. You know, I see what happens when they share stuff and everything, and no, I don't want to be part of it.
Well, I must admit, I'll be honest with you, I've never had that. I mean, I've put things up on YouTube. I was using YouTube a long time before anybody, and me and a friend. And then I stopped putting stuff up because what happened was I was told, don't put anything up on YouTube, Russ. If you send all what you've got, right, yeah, we want to make a documentary about your footage. And the problem was this guy was going around saying that to everybody. He was going around saying the same thing, asking people not to put video footage up on YouTube. Oh, we want, you know, we want good original footage. And, you know, sort of like we want to make this documentary. Anyway, I got all this, I had quite a few clips to send. And I said to my friend, I said to him, I'm going to send this across, you know. And he said, I won't if I were you. He said, because something is not quite right about this. Anyway, to cut a long story short, this guy had been asking everybody to send him footage. And he never made the documentary. What he was doing, apparently, he was selling the clips, 5-minute clips and 2-minute clips, to a lot of these companies that use video for newsreels. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
like, and selling them along. So basically, you know, and you can't do that because the person that has the copyright own that footage. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
yeah.
anyway, I didn't do it. In at the end of the day, and I was 5 years messing about, but forwards and backwards, talking to this guy, and because I was doing other things as well. and it never happened. And in a way, I'm glad it never happened, because at least my footage is my footage. It's still my footage, and it's my copyright, if you know what I mean. So, you know, it just goes to show you, you've got to be so careful. But I've never had any problems apart from people trying to take my footage, if you know what I mean.
Right.
I'm waiting to use some more footage, a project what I'm doing, which hopefully it'll start up again in the next couple of weeks, you know. But I have got some new footage from the outside cameras, you know, sort of like, which is, you know, I know Lala Bright were putting something up. It looks like a saw, you know, in sky. It's like a white bar, but it looks like a saw, like it's got teeth. And I've been filming stuff like that as well, you know, and something that looks like a big butterfly, you know, sort of like really bizarre, really bizarre. So that's what I'm putting up next, and you know, with a few projects and what have you.
Awesome. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We got another show coming up here at 6 o'clock with the psychics, Angela Ford and Peter Marks at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So what do you think, good old Russ? You think we had a good show today?
Yeah. I've noticed a few people are asking questions. I didn't realize until later on about the abduction and what have you.
And we got a good show tonight. Tammy. I'm glad you brought that up, Tammy. Another good show tonight, Russ, at 9 o'clock Eastern. You got to tune in for that one. We got a big panel coming on of a Central Florida group. Yes, Bigfoot.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm getting ready now. I'm getting my coffee on and everything.
So I'm gonna grab something to eat. I got all my holy water up, and D, I'm glad you all join in. So yeah, and Rita, lovely Rita May. Every time I see that name, Rita, I think about the Beatles song. So yeah, no, Cliff, I'm glad you joined in. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Jones. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday, Mr. Jones. Hope you have a good one there.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. And Roger says, don't forget, Mr. Rose, pigs in a blanket for supper.
Oh, yes.
So I do say happy birthday to people on the air. Hopefully he wasn't driving, so he doesn't wreck. I actually got a call one day from somebody in the audience the next day, and he's like, I am not listening to your show anymore on the way to work because you always in the ditch so many times. I literally put my car in the ditch from laughing. I forgot what we were talking about, but yeah, it was that bad. And he said he got laughing so hard he had tears. He was laughing so hard he couldn't even see the road. But yes. But happy birthday, Mr. Jones. Best wishes, yes. But be able to see you all here shortly. We're going to sign off. Rita, lovely Rita May. Every time I see that name or hear that name, I think of that song. So, oh my God, what a pig in a blanket show. I know I want to laugh so hard every time I see Russ and I think pig in a blanket. He's like, I thought that was a thingy, a bomb.
You said it was a wiener. I was told you couldn't say wiener live on the air.
Oh my God. I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
Not say the word wiener.
My Oscar Mayer Wiener had a first name. You never Google that song either?
No.
Yeah, there's a hot dog song. My wiener had a first name was Oscar Myers. I can't remember, but I'm dying laughing. Yeah, it's Oscar Mayer Wiener name. All the kids sang it.
Yeah, my friend from America told me don't say wiener when you're going live. It's rude. You can't say
my
wiener.
Gosh. Yeah, see Tammy Johnson Wienerhead. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to Tammy. I'm gonna have to get him the Oscar Mayer Wiener song and send it to him so he doesn't think I'm crazy. I done got him on that commercial, about the electric cars.
No.
Yeah, that's where I got that's that clip. When that taxi comes picks you up, it's Uber with nobody in it.
Won't pick me up. No chance of that. I'm not going. You know for certain you're going to be bumped off if one of them comes for you.
I know, Tammy, you asked me to sing it. Like, I couldn't. I had people sending me. Tammy, I had people sending me PMs on Messenger, voice PM, singing that song, Oscar Mayer Wiener song. And I couldn't listen to it because it would play it on the air. So I had to listen to all these messages of people singing that song. It was awful. It was funny, but it was awful funny. But yes. So Stanley, you know that song, right? It's from the 60s. I didn't know that song was from the 60s. But Oscar Mayer Wiener. Yeah, Oscar Mayer Wiener. So, anyways, but I have to get you that song. It is hilarious. But the kids sang it, and they had the Wienermobile too, and it's a big wiener in a bun, and you have to take a driving test to drive this wiener across America on a tour. I'm not making this up. I promise. Scout's honor. They said 3 fingers on the scout. Look at Ross.
No.
Look, I'm not making this up. You need to Google it. Poor Russ. Man, I tell you what, if I ever find the Wienermobile, I am getting my picture taken with it, and I am sending it to you. Look at everybody. Look, Gene, yes, the Wienermobile still goes around. Look at it. Down there, look. Eric, Wienermobile, yes. It's a big hot dog on a bun, and it's a vehicle. And it's a Wienermobile. I'm telling you.
Good grief.
I got to see how many audio hits we got off that show, because I hurt so bad. Almost got nowhere by that one year at San Antonio Parade in a police uniform. Tammy Johnson. Now that would have been a story for the Tribune or something. Poor Brian, I have this Wiener song all day long. Yeah, I know, right? Hold on, I'll get it on my thumbnail. Ladies and gentlemen, coast to coast, around the world, that's a wrap. We'll see you here in a few minutes on the next show. Godspeed. We'll see you. Bye-bye.